You're welcome to the House of Representatives. Students from JDC International Schools are also here. You're welcome. The students from St. Augustine's College are here with us in the gallery. Interestingly, we have three of the children of our members here in the gallery from St. Augustine as well, Honorable Zondo, Honorable Theo, and Honorable Bandi. The children are here as well. So yes, you're welcome to the House of Representatives. Are there any petitions today? In the absence of any petitions, we move to
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues. My name is Nagugo Dr. Farah. I represent Degema Boni Federal Constituency. I'm from River State. Mr. Speaker, here with me are two petitions, ably signed by the chiefs of Kalabari Kingdom, which happens to be 3 LGS, Degema, Saitoro, and Akugutoro. The first one is signed by Chief Barrister Tuatam Nordic against Adax Petroleum Nigeria Limited. The second one is signed by 5 chiefs also, namely Chief Alabo Fiala Oye Davis, Chief Fiala Alabo Davis, Chief Flag Amakri, Chief Honorable Japosin Binabo Ekine, and Ambassador Ibinabo Victor Osama. Mr. Speaker, I kind leave and the leave of the House permit me to lay the petition.
Yes, please, you may lay the petition. Are there any other petitions? Petitions referred to the Committee on Public Petitions. Motions of urgent public importance, Honorable Aliu.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues. I'm Architect Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Aliu, member representing Urundo Federal Constituency from Sokoto State. I'm coming under Order 8, Rule 4, to move matter of urgent public importance on the need to curb incessant bandit attacks, cattle rustling, indiscriminate killings of innocent citizens, and kidnapping in Urundo general area. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Larry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Respected colleagues, Ari Mohammed Abdul Mumin, member representing Nasarawa Total Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm from Nasarawa State. I rise to second the motion. Every moved by a colleague I saw second, sir.
Those in support that this matter is urgent enough to be taken now, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Aliu, please move your motion.
Motion for the need to curb incessant bandit attacks, cattle rustling, indiscriminate killings of innocent citizens, and kidnapping in Wounded Abadra area of Sokoto State. I want this Honorable House, Mr. Speaker, Honorable colleagues, to note that security is one of the most important rights guaranteed to every citizen of Nigeria by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. Unfortunately, the turn of events in Sokoto State and in particular Raba local government call for serious concern to safety of lives and properties. Incessant killings and kidnapping of innocent citizens is leading to total lack of confidence on the constituted authority and deeming peaceful coexistence in the affected communities in the recent past. Groups from neighboring states and other adjoining local governments in the state have taken solace in most of the communities in Wurno and Raba local governments, giving them easy access to virtually all communities around. Confirmed sources, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, reveal that the settlement of this bandit in Allakiru, Tabani, Urwanga, Ingandi, Majia, Dutsi, Mefitila, Dan Amale farms near Raba, just 5 kilometers to Raba, Sukungu, Jenduse, Dogon Marke, Falalia in Esokua district, and near Arba in Koragaba district of Bruno local government general area. Worried that the incessant report of insecurity in Sokoto State, in particular Raba local government, has reached boiling point, leading to ceaseless armed robbery, abductions, killings of innocent citizens, creation of panic, general uncertainty and hopelessness. Similarly, this almost daily attack, theft and killing of innocent citizens and cattle rustling and destruction of property worth millions of naira had made living conditions in the affected areas very bad. Alarmed that on the 13th December 2021, bandits reportedly abducted no fewer than 20 villagers in Kosari and Chacho villages in Wurno local government area of Sokoto State, demanding for ransoms, causing panic, fear, and closure of businesses in the area. Within the same period, many communities in Sisawa, Tofa, Kogogo, and Rara, Etsakuwa, Rekaka, Tumbulla, Gododi, Kuria, Kudrumusu, Yola Bagayi, Gidambua, and Gaamfulani were attacked. Many were either killed or kidnapped, with thousands of cattle rustles. It is alarming to note, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, that within the period of 9 months, over 200 people lost their lives to the numerous attacks of this bandit. Many are in the hospital, and so many of them displaced. Regret that most recently, on the 13th March 2022, 3 days ago, armed bandits indiscriminately attacked Gandhi village, killing at least one person and kidnapping 7 others, creating anxiety among populace in the already stressed community. And the following day, the same armed bandits attacked innocent travelers returning from Mekujera market and abducted 15 persons, having their families gravely worried and in disarray. Concerned that if nothing is done to eradicate this menace, the resultant effect is that more villages within the local government area will be affected, thereby crippling the economy and social activities of the communities, increasing homelessness situation and further loss of lives and property in the state. Just this morning, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I received a gazette that I usually receive from some of the security agents, and I would like to take the leave of the Honorable House to read that, good evening, sir, terrorist situation report. Grateful be informed that today, being Wednesday at about 20:50 hours, armed terrorists in large numbers stormed into Tagwa village of Raba, started shooting sporadically and shot one Ibrahim Muhammad. The said victim is now referred to Udud, Sokoto, also kidnapped 6 people. They are as follows: Murtala Shehu, Aminu Shehu, Muttaha Muhammad, Shehu na Allah, Kabir Idris, Zainab Malam, to unknown destination. Early this morning, today, 17th, I also received a similar gazette that today being Thursday at about 6 a.m. hours, information received from the source that today, same date, at about 15 hours, 12:15 hours, armed terrorists in large numbers stormed into Maranawa village in Raba local government, kidnapping about 15 other people and shooting two innocent citizens to death. So these are the daily type of report that we receive from the communities on the activities of these notorious armed bandits and criminals living around the area. So I want this Honorable House to resolve as follows. All the Chief of Army Staff and the Inspector General of Police to, as a matter of urgency, mobilize men and resources in the affected areas through the establishment of military pin-down operational outposts in the following locations. Gandhi Town, Rara Junction, Wurno Town, Tumbula Junction. Reinforce the existing outpost at Rabat Town. 2. Further urge the Chief of Army Staff to immediately establish a military forward operational base at Munki, Wurno Junction to cover the 8 local government areas comprising the Sokoto East Senatorial District. 3. Urge the Director General of the Department of State Service to mobilize a special team to comb the security front areas for proper intelligence sharing and coordination. 4. Urge the National Emergency Management Agency as a matter of urgency to provide humanitarian support, particularly in food and relief materials, to over 5,000 households in the affected towns and villages. And 5. Urge the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Defense, the Comptroller General of the Nigerian Civil Defense Corps, as a matter of urgency, provide operational vehicles, hardware and logistics to Sokoto State Command of the Corps for immediate deployment in the affected areas for surveillance and operations. 6. To mandate the House of Representative Committee on Army, Police, National Security and Intelligence, Internet Security, and National Emergency and Relief to ensure compliance. And 7, Honorable Speaker, Honorable colleagues, I want this Honorable House to set up another committee to investigate the various operations by Nigerian Army, DSS, NSCDC, and the Nigerian Police Force on issues related to banditry, cattle rustling, and kidnapping activities in the country in the last 5 years, and report back within 8 weeks. Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, as I'm standing here, I'm not a happy man.
No, I have to get somebody to second that motion again. Honorable Bande. Honorable Bande. Please second.
Distinguished Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm Dr. Richard Bandi. I represent the people of Kasinala, Okun, Logo Federal Constituency from Benue State. I rise to second the motion moved by my honorable colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, so this is on the situation in Sokoto State. We'll just give you 30 seconds just to put some flesh on it, and then we'll put the question. Go ahead.
Thank you so very much, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. As I have said earlier, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues, I'm not a happy man. In fact, on a daily basis, these are the type of reports I receive from my constituency. People are having a serious situation of hopelessness. At random, these people find liberty in just coming into any community, busting in, killing, shooting sporadically, and killing whoever come to their site, rustling cattle, and in fact, robbing and raping women. So in this situation, Mr. Speaker, going by our constitutional responsibility, I believe the 9th House of Representatives have done a lot, particularly under your leadership, Mr. Speaker, setting up even a committee to look into the issues related to security in this country. But this our issue now is urgent because people are not sleeping with their 2 eyes closed. All social and economic activities have come to a standstill. In fact, there's a general uncertainty around the area. So I want this Honorable House, the Speaker, honorable colleagues, to expeditiously approve these resolutions so that something can be done immediately to save life and property in Wunuraba Federal Constituency. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Those in support of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honourable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 7 reports of the Committee on Health Institutions, standing in the name of Honourable Pascal Obi. Honourable Obi is invited to present the reports.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, my dear colleagues. Mr. Speaker, I'm Honorable Dr. Pascal Chigozie Obi. I'm a member representing the good people of Idata North, Idata South Federal Constituency. I'm from Imo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to crave the indulgence of this Honorable House to receive a title of the report of about 7 number of bills which were referred to the Committee on Health Institutions for normal legislative action. I move as follows. 1, that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to convert and rename University of Ilorin Teaching Hospital Comprehensive Health Center, IHIMA, to Federal University of Lokoja Teaching Hospital, IHIMA, to provide for establishment of Federal University of Lokoja Teaching Hospital, IHIMA, and for related matters, HB 1019. The second one is that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish the Federal Medical Center, Goza, in Borno State, and for related matters, HB 1746. That the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, Rano, in Kano State, and for related matters, HB 1083. That the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, ANPA, in Kogi State, and for related matters, HB 1195. That the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Nursing, Maiha, in Adamawa State, and for related matters, HB 1368. That the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal School of Nursing and Midwifery, Mushin, in Lagos State, and for related matters, HB 1516. And that the House do receive the report of the Committee on Health Institutions on a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal College of Nursing and Midwifery, Federal College of Nursing, Midwifery and Health Sciences, Chibok, in Borno State, and for related matters, HB 1747. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Honourable Gaza, please second. Oh, did he leave? Honourable Maki. Honourable Maki.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable colleagues, I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamuru Kaugama Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I raise to second the motion heavily moved by my honorable colleague. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honourable Obi, please lay your report. Second business of the day is presentation of report of the delegation of the House of Representatives on the evacuation process of Nigerians trapped in Russia-Ukraine war. Standing in the name of Honorable Alhassan Ado-Dogwa, the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the delegation on Thursday, 24th February 2022. Honorable Dogwa is invited to present the report.
Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, the Speaker of the Nigerian people, my respected colleagues, I remain Honorable Alhassan Ado Dogwa. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I represent the good people of Tudunwada, Dogwa Federal Constituency. My brother, Honorable Elimelu, I am from Kano State and of the APC extraction. Mr. Speaker, I would like to reiterate, like you rightly said, that this House sometime in February, through the wisdom of your leadership, sir, through the guidance of our legislative agenda under your stewardship, got up and found it necessary to set up an emergency rescue delegation. This emergency rescue delegation was for the circumstances of the situation faced by Nigerians as a result of the war going on between Ukraine and Russia. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, you remember this was a two-man emergency delegation. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I led the Chairman House Committee on Foreign Affairs to undertake such a national assignment, and we have successfully done that, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure to the admiration of Nigerians and my respected colleagues who have mandated us to do that. It is on that note, Mr. Speaker, that I rise here with all sense of responsibility to seek the leave of the House that this House do receive this emergency and rescue mission report by a two-man delegation of the House of Representatives on the evacuation process of Nigerians trapped by the Russia-Ukraine war. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I therefore seek your leave and that of the members to lay this report on the table. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
The Chairman Foreign Affairs, Honorable Buba Yusuf, who was on the delegation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Yusuf Buba Yakub. I represent Gombe Home Federal Constituency from Adamawa State. I rise to second the motion moved by the leader of the House to lay the report on the rescue mission of Nigerians trapped in Ukraine due to the ongoing war between Nigeria and Russia. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support, please say aye. Those guys will say nay. The ayes have it. The House Leader, please lay the report. The first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the Immigration and Prison Services Board Act Cap 12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and enact the Civil Defense Corps, Correctional, Federal Fire and Immigration Services Board Act to provide policy direction to the Corps and services and appoint, promote, and exercise disciplinary control over officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Federal Fire Service, Nigerian Correctional Service, Nigerian Immigration Service, and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 2nd March 2022, and I invite the Leader to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. My respected colleagues, I remain Ado Dogwa, representing Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I rise at this material time to move that a bill for an act to repeal the Immigration and Prison Services Board Act Cap 1-2 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and enact the Civil Defense Corps, Correctional, Federal Fire and Immigration Services Board Act to provide for policy direction to the Corps and services and appoint, promote, and exercise disciplinary control over officers of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Federal Fire Service, Nigerian Correctional Service, and Nigerian Immigration Service, and for related matters, HB 1859 be read the second time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so respectfully move.
Honorable, no, 1 second. Honorable Jimo, please second.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My name is Jima Ibrahim Olajide. I represent Lagos Mainland, Federal Constituency, Lagos State. I stand to second the motion as moved by the leader of this House, a proper APC man. Thank you.
Leader, I don't think you want to debate this. It's straightforward, or you want to debate? Okay, those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk, please read the long title.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to repeal the Immigration and Prison Services Board Act, Cap 12, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, and enact the Civil Defense Corps, Correctional, Federal Fire, and Immigration Services Board Act, provide policy direction to the Corps and services, and appoint, promote, and exercise disciplinary control over officers of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, Federal Fire Service, Nigeria Correctional Service, and Nigeria Immigration Service, and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to the Committee on Interior. Second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish the National Rice Development Council of Nigeria to provide guidance on the rice research, comprehensive development of the rice sector, and the organization of the rice stakeholder to enhance local production of rice in Nigeria, and for related matters, standing in the name of the House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate seeking concurrence of the House and read the first time on Wednesday, 16 February 2022. I now invite the Leader to move that the bill be read a second time. Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues. I remain Alhassan Ado Dogwa, representing Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I'm from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, while I rise to move for this item number
was there a motion, Leader, was there a motion, point of order by the Chief Whip yesterday? Honorable Jimo, what was the point of order about? Or the 9 Rule 13, that what? What do you say, you were not around? Double offense. Double offense. Okay, you can approach the chair in 10 minutes. Take your paper. Sorry, Leader, go ahead.
As the chair pleases. Mr. Speaker, that is another variant. That is another variant.
Okay.
Another variant. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable members. I rise to, as directed by the Speaker, to move that a bill for an act to establish National Rice Development Council of Nigeria to provide guidance on the rice research, comprehensive development of the rice sector, and the organization of the rice stakeholders to enhance local production of rice in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1846, a Senate bill, be taken the second time.
Thank you.
Speaker, I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Olabi, please second. Please second.
Is Honorable James Adisa Owolabi, representing the good people of Ifakoja Federal Constituency. I rise, sir, to second the motion, ably moved by the House Leader. I so second, sir.
Okay. You may approach the chair. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable Olabi, you may approach the chair. Clerk, please read the long title.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish National Rice Development Council of Nigeria, provide guidance on the rice research, comprehensive development of the rice sector, and the organization of the rice stakeholder to enhance local production of rice in Nigeria, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill is referred to the Committee of the Whole. Honorable Uju and Honorable Osby, and perhaps maybe Honorable Pascal, see the House Leader, this matter that I know that you are discussing right now, see the House Leader on it and get his advice. House Leader, they have a very important matter they need to talk to you about. Those three members from Imo State.
They are welcome, sir. They are welcome on board.
The fourth order of the day is a motion on need to investigate the operative policy on issuance of passports, visas, and other permits by the Federal Ministry of Interior and its partners. Oh, we missed number 3? Okay, sorry. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for the establishment of Federal Medical Center, DEBA, in Gombe State, and for related matters. Standing in the name of the House Leader, honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted from the Senate, seeking concurrence of the House, and read the first time on Wednesday, 16 February 2022, and I now invite the Leader to move that the bill be read the second time.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. I rise to move that a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, DEBA, Gombe State, and for related matters, HB 1847, a Senate bill seeking concurrence of this honorable House, be read the second time. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Mr. Speaker, seconder. Seconder.
You want to, okay. Honorable Nkiru.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues. I am Kiru Kaunye George. I represent the good people of Isukwatu Munoj Federal Constituency. I am from Abia State. I rise to second the motion as ably moved by the House Leader that the bill be read the second time. I so second.
Anybody want to speak against this bill? Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, a bill for an act to establish Federal Medical Center, DEBA, Gombe State, and for related matters. Second reading.
The bill is referred to the Committee of the Whole. Fourth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the operative policy on issuance of passports, visas, and other permits by the Federal Ministry of Interior and its partners, standing in the name of Honorable Nasir Sani Zango Dara. Honorable Dara is invited to move the motion.
I represent Zango Bore Federal Constituency. I'm from Kaduna State. On the advice of Mr. Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, I would like to step the motion down for further legislative input.
Such an important motion.
I was given very important.
Why are you involving me in this? It's you and the Deputy Speaker that came to me that said you wanted to step it down. You have now roped me into. Okay. What's your step down? The fifth order of the day is a motion on urgent need to save over 900 medical officers from losing their jobs over the termination of public-private partnership concession agreement of Garki General Hospital, Abuja, standing in the names of Honorable Benjamin Ben Mzondu and two other honorable members. Honorable Mzondu is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Benjamin Bem Mzondu. I speak for the people of Makudi Guma. We are from Benue State. And by the leave of this House, I'm the ambassador of the unemployed youths of Nigeria. I rise this morning to move a motion on the urgent need to save 900 medical officers from losing their jobs over the termination of a public-private partnership concession agreement on Garki General Hospital, Abuja. I so move.
Honorable Halims. The second Honorable Mzondu's motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Distinguished honorable colleagues, Abdullah Ibrahim Halims is my name. I am from Kogi State, representing Ankpa Omala Borough Federal Constituency. I rise to support the motion as ably moved by Honorable Mzondu. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Mzondu, go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. The House notes that in 2007, the federal government, through the Federal Capital Territory Executive Committee, authorized the concession of Garki General Hospital, Abuja, on a public-private partnership arrangement to a competent private healthcare provider on the basis of the public-private partnership for a period of 15 years. Aware that in March 2007, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, signed a concession agreement with Nisa Premier Hospital to manage the Garki General Hospital, Abuja, on a PPP arrangement. Also note that the FCTA administration on 1st of March 2022 gave the management of the hospital notice to vacate and hand over the facility by April 1st, 2022, following the expiration of the concession agreement and the PPP arrangement with Nisa Premier Hospital. Worried that over 900 workers, including 21 consultants, 113 medical doctors, 24 house officers, 159 nurses, 96 patient care attendants, pharmacists, medical record officers, laboratory scientists, and other technicians may lose their job. Recall that the management of the hospital had written severally to the FCT administration for a review of the concession agreement without any response until March 1st, 2022, when the FCT administration sent a letter terminating the concession agreement with Nisa Premier Hospital with the intention to take over the facility and hand over to another concessionaire. Worried that the short notice of termination of the concession agreement and takeover of the Garki General Hospital by the FCT administration may lead to the displacement of over 3,000 patients with different health conditions, and many highly sensitive, expensive world-class medical equipment may be damaged, as much longer time is needed to be recalibrated before removal and sudden termination notice, which is not in tandem with PPP arrangements according to the Infrastructural Concession Regulatory Commission Act. Also worried that the 1 month notice given to the concessionaire, which is Nisa Premier Hospital, to vacate the hospital premise may be inadequate and contrary to Article 2.2 of the concession agreement and the Regulation 29 of the Guidelines on Public-Private Partnership pursuant to the ICRC Act, which specified that a transition committee made up of the parties to the concession agreement and the ICRC must be constituted to wind down the agreement within a period of 36 months. The House resolved to 1, urge the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, to stay action on the termination of the concession agreement on Garki General Hospital, Abuja, pending the intervention of the Committee on Privatization and Commercialization and Health Institutions on the matter. 2, mandate the Committee on Privatization and Commercialization and Health Institutions to intervene and liaise with the concessionaires, the ICRC, and the FCT administration to resolve the issue for enhanced healthcare delivery in the Federal Capital Territory. I so move.
Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, respected honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Ibrahim Ayokuni Isiaka. I speak for and on behalf of the good people of Ifo, a Wekoro Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Ogun State. I rise, Mr. Speaker, to second the wonderful motion to save lives and the call for rescue, ably moved by Honorable Ben Osandu. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Ben, just 1 minute, add some flesh to this. Unless he wants to give his, well, other sponsors, you want to yield your time to allow, you want to lead the debate? Okay, you want to yield the rest of your time to Honorable Yunusa.
He's trying to. Thank you. Right Honorable Speaker, the leader of the Ninth Assembly, House of Representatives, distinguished colleagues, I remain Abubakar Yunus Ahmad, representing Yamal Tudeba Federal Constituency. I am from Gombe State. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving us just 1 minute to elucidate and emphasize on this motion. We want to be put on record that we are not actually trying to hold the public agency in doing what is supposed to do, either to determine or otherwise of the concession, but rather the point of emphasis here is procedure. The procedure has not been adhered to. The concessionaire had been writing pursuant to the agreement they signed, indicating his interest to continue after the 15-year period. Now, no reply was given to him. He had been writing more than a year before the end of the pursuant to that agreement. And just about in a month's notice, you gave somebody who had have some developmental plan, he had brought in machines, and the dangers of the patient. Well, we are not actually bothered about the medical officers. They are licensed, they can take employment elsewhere. But what of the patients that are in-house patients that are being monitored? Some of them are under critical condition. The concessionaire is really taking care of them. 3,000 patients. How do you want them to go? So the ICRC Act, as quoted in section 2.2 and the guideline 29, have stipulated that an interim at the time of the determination, either at the end of expiration or even middle of the concession, the public agency have the right to do whatever. But then 6 months, there has to be a kind of taking over committee that will set up. And from the date that that committee is set up, they need 6 months minimum to put the parameters and the framework of taking over. And this thing is expected to wind up within 36 months. Now, just support this in giving just 1 month. You wrote a letter in March and you are asking by April 1st for them to hand over. So truly, justice has not been done. Apart from the patient, the medical personnel have been jeopardized. What of the equipment? Because when we went through it, we discovered that the concessionaire took over an empty buildings and then brought in all their medical equipment. So to us is that fairness should be seen to have been done to both parties. So we throw our weight behind this motion to see that the proper architect has been put in place for a smooth handing over. Thank you.
The Deputy Speaker.
Your Excellency, respected colleagues, my name is Ahmed Idris. I represent Wasefere constituency of Plateau State. Mr. Speaker, respected colleagues, this is a house that should be sensitive to all matters, improving also it has to do with the life and of our citizens. But I'm not comfortable with the prayers of the motion, sir. What the mover of the motion have said, he has given us one side of the story. And it is not for us now at this point to stop the process of what they are doing, but to rather investigate. Even if we are able to stop, it's for us to investigate and report back to the House. But that's not what the prayers are saying here. It's like we have gone to conclusion. And I think it is not right as a parliament to take that direction. I'm just not comfortable with the prayers of the motion. I'm very okay with the argument of the motion, but the prayers of the motion are not intended with our parliamentary practice. Thank you very much, sir.
It's a very fine line. We don't know, we cannot get involved in a contractual agreement as such. It's a very thin line. But I think what the mover of the motion is saying is that there is actually a breach of the law. That there is a breach of the law. Yes.
My brother, Honorable Yunusa, he said they have gone ahead to do inspection. They went there. As a parliamentarian, why the incident coming, sir? Yes, we could generate interest in terms of submission of facts. But to the essence of inspection, I think they have gone beyond.
Who went to inspect?
He said it in his argument here.
That who went to inspect?
That he went there to inspect. And they have found out that they even went to say that when the person was taking over, it was an empty and what. These are not the details for him. And these are not details for any member who is present a motion, even if you are privileged with that kind of information, I think it's not all. At this moment, I would say the owner of the key hospital, the one they're talking about, is the owner of NISA, one of the biggest hospitals here in Abuja. I'm a beneficiary of his own activity. We know his work, his competence. They have gone too far, and that's why the prayers I plead to the House, allow the motion pass, but it has to be under investigation.
Okay, so to investigate the matter.
Yes, sir.
But what about if whilst you are investigating the matter, when does the thing you are presented with a fait accompli and they send them out, what will your investigation do?
Since the timeline is about how many days, give them 4 days. Working days is sufficient for them to send the report to the House.
Okay. Honorable JJ.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. My name is Jima Ibrahim Olajide. I represent Lagos Mainland Federal Constituency, Lagos State. I want to go along with the Deputy Speaker. And at the same time, must not throw away the baby with bathwater, simply because what he has brought was brought yesterday under a matter of urgent public importance, but it was disregarded by virtue of our rules and others. Having said that, sir, Mr. Speaker, today it has come. We can go for investigation. But I want clarification, because I want to speak from the point of knowledge. This regulation that has been referred to here, 2.2, I think it's better for him to give us insight to that article, which is very important, so that we will be guided accordingly. We just read it here. We don't know what it means. And it's very important for him to give us details about that. Thank you.
Honorable Ben.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. The issue here is the issue of procedure. This very honorable House made a law, the ICRC Act. A major clause in that act, which is 2.2, stipulates that for any concessionaire to terminate or for any agreement to be terminated,
We need 36 months.
you need 36 months within which to work that transition. But in this case, 30 days is given to the investor who has put in so much money. As we speak to you, Mr. Speaker, you have children in the incubator machine there who need minimum 90 days. And we're talking about 30 days here. We have the mortuary that is filled up. How do you evacuate it? As we speak, we have some patients that are on life support machines. You give them 30 days. This is a violation of laws made by this House. We are not saying that the FCTA does not own the facility. They own it. They are the landlords. But the tenant also have rights, and their rights will also be respected. The DS has rightly said that we can investigate the matter. Yes, agreed, we can investigate it. But looking at the time frame, from the 1st of March to the 1st of April, we have less than 15 working days as we speak. How do we write letters? When do we get our votes out and write letters to invite these people here before we can investigate and submit? But purely, majorly, Right Honorable Speaker, is a matter of procedure. If this House made a law and in her wisdom said 36 months within which you terminate an agreement, why will the FCTA, who will legislate for, now come and say 30 days, leave the facility? There are a lot of questions that desire to be answered here, but an investigation will bring it out. So I also want to agree, we can amend it to investigate, but why investigating if we are not concluded and 1st of April is here, what happens?
So why don't we take the Deputy Speaker's amendment and add and marry it to on the termination of the investigation of the House. So that way, no, otherwise, if you investigate and you find out that they've actually broken the law, but then they've kicked them out, do you not tell them to come back, they've dismantled? So we can marry the two, the amendment and the Honorable Mansour.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues. Mansour Manu Soro, Daras Zoganjua, Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to propose an amendment to Prayer 1 to the effect that the House urge the Federal Capital Territory Administration to stay action on the termination of the concession agreement on the Gariki General Hospital, Abuja, pending the investigation of the House Committee on Privatization and Commercialization and Health Institutions on the matter. I so amend.
Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. A bit of grammatical correction, pending the investigation, pending the outcome of the investigation, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Okay.
So that that is maintain status quo, that is stay action pending the outcome of the investigation of the matter. On the same run-on line, the way Honorable Maso explained, I so second, sir.
Okay. Those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. In this case, we say nay. Ayes have it. I think there should be a second amendment flowing from the first amendment that the committee should investigate the matter, and then we give them a time frame. We give them a time frame. Honorable Bamide.
I represent the fantastic group of the North and the South of Bedouin Regibu Federal Constituency of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I wish to move that the committee to be set up be given a mandate of 1 week to report back to the as the terminal date. So today is 17th. So I think if we give them 1 week, which is 5 working days, Mr. Speaker, I want to move that we give them 1 week to submit to the House for further legislative action. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Deco. Second, please. Honorable Deco. Please second.
The Right Honorable Speaker, my dear colleagues, my name is Dumnamene Deko. I represent the good people of Kana Federal Constituency. I rise to the motion. The second motion has moved. I so second.
Very good secondment, but there was no motion. Although you can argue that an amendment is a motion too. That's why it's being seconded. That's why it's being seconded. An amendment is a motion. Because you move to amend. Somebody was trying to mislead me there. Okay, so those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Which committee was this? Privatization, yeah. Okay, the ayes have it. Those in favor of the motion as amended, please say aye. Those against, say nay. Ayes have it. The sixth order of the day is a motion on need to reinforce the provisions of the Compulsory Free Universal Basic Education Act 2004 in the Federal Capital Territory and other parts of the country, standing in the name of Honorable Bamidele Salam. Honorable Salam is invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Bamidele Salam, representing the fantastic people of Ede North, Ede South, Egbedore, Ejigbo Federal Constituency of Osun State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move a motion on the need to reinforce the provisions of the Compulsory Free Education Universal Basic Education Act 2004 in the Federal Capital Territory and in other parts of the country. The House notes that the report by the Ministry of Education in 2021 stated that an estimated number of out-of-school children in Nigeria was about 10.1 million, while the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, put the number of out-of-school children in Nigeria at 13.2 million. And the figure appears to be on the increase, as the Minister of Education has stated that there had been a more than 3 million increase in the figure from 2020. Worried about the report from UNICEF that Nigeria has the highest number of out-of-school children in sub-Saharan Africa, and of course the highest in the world. Aware that Section 18 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, provides that 1. Government shall direct its policy towards ensuring that there are equal and adequate educational opportunities at all levels. 2. Government shall promote science and technology. 3. Government shall strive to eradicate illiteracy and shall provide a free, compulsory, and universal primary education.
Honorable Odegbemi.
Free secondary
Honorable
education.
Odegbemi.
University
Approach the
education
chief
and
whip.
free adult literacy program.
Approach the chief whip.
Also aware.
Order 9, Rule 4.
Also aware, Mr.
Sub
Speaker,
13.
that Section.
Take note.
Honorable Odebumi is asking me to save him, but how do I break the rules? Go and appeal to the chief whip.
Also aware that Section 15 of the Child Rights Act provides that every parent or guardian shall ensure that his or her child or ward attends and completes his primary and junior secondary school education. And any parent who fails in this duty commits an offense and is liable, A, on first conviction to be reprimanded and ordered to undertake community service, B, on second conviction to a fine of 2,000 naira or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 1 month, or both such fine and imprisonment, and C, on any subsequent conviction to a fine not exceeding 5,000 naira or imprisonment for a term not exceeding 2 months, or to both the fine and the imprisonment. Recall that 27 out of the 36 states in Nigeria have adopted and domesticated the Child Rights Act. Cognizant that Section 2 of the Universal Basic Education Commission, UBEC Act, provides that every government in Nigeria shall provide free, compulsory, and basic education for every child of primary and junior secondary, and that parents who fail to complete such, and that parents must ensure that their wards attend and complete primary and junior secondary school. Also cognizant that Section 2, subsection 3 of the Act compels stakeholders in education in a local government area to enforce the provisions of Section 2, thus ensuring that every parent or person who has the care and custody of a child sends such a child for his primary and junior secondary school education. Concerned that the provisions of the UBEC Act earlier quoted and the Child Rights Act also quoted earlier are not being implemented, considering the statistics of the out-of-school children in Nigeria and the presence of children on the streets hawking, begging, and undertaking all other activities during school hours in the Federal Capital Territory. Also concerned that the neglect of these children puts their future and indeed the future of Nigeria in jeopardy, as they are exposed to getting recruited into kidnapping, robbery gangs, drugs, and other crimes. Worried that the number of out-of-school children in the country is on a rapid increase and no arrest of defaulting parent or guardian are being made as required by the law. The House therefore resolves, 1, to urge the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory to ensure full compliance with the provisions of the UBEC Act and the Child Rights Act in the Federal Capital Territory. 2, urge the UBEC to liaise with state governments who have adopted the Child Rights Act and the UBEC Act for enforcement of the provisions of the law. And 3, the House mandates the committee on the Federal Capital Territory and the Committee on Basic Education and Services to ensure compliance. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Ahmed Munir, please second. Please second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My honorable members, my honorable colleagues, my names are Honorable Ahmed Munir, and I represent PLENARY Federal Constituency of Kaduna State. And I hereby rise to second the motion ably moved by my honorable colleague. Mr. Speaker, I so move. Thank you.
Is there anybody that wants to speak against this? So we'll put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Honorable colleagues, I have an announcement from the Leader of the House. This is to once again request honorable members of the APC caucus to attend an important meeting with Senator Tanko Almakura, National Chairmanship of the party aspirant. And the meeting is scheduled for today, Thursday, 17th of March, 2022, by 3 p.m. at hearing room number 0.28. Signed, Honorable Ado Dogwa, the House Leader. 3 p.m. today. Meeting with Senator Tanko Almakura, who is aspiring to the chairmanship position of the APC. Please, members should be in attendance. Are we on item 7? Okay. The seventh order of the day is a motion on need to resuscitate the Kere Goje Dam in Iseyin local government area of Oyo State, standing in the name of Honorable Shina Pella. Honorable Pella is invited to move the motion. Honorable Pella, it's very difficult to recognize you these days.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues. Mr. Speaker, my name is Honorable Shina Pella, a member representing the good people of Iseyin. It is Iwaju Kajola Iwaju Federal Constituency of Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, I'm the leader of the entire Yoruba land, the promoter of peace and the land. I rise to move a motion on the need to resuscitate the Ikere Gorge Dam in Iseyin local government area of Oyo State. The House notes that the federal government has recorded huge successes in the agricultural sector, which is aimed at diversifying the economy to improve Nigeria's internally generated revenues, strengthening food security, create more agro-related jobs, enhance national pride, and yield more income for farmers. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, also notes that the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has successfully initiated programs geared towards the development of the agricultural sector, such as Anchor Borers Program, the Youth Farm Lab, and the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, among others. Aware.
Honorable Minister, please approach the chair.
Mr. Speaker, aware that irrigation is a basic determinant of agriculture due to its inadequacies and one of the most powerful constraints on the increase of agricultural yields. Therefore, the importance of dams cannot be overemphasized. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, also aware that the Ikere Gorge Dam in Iseyin local government area of Oyo State was established in 1983 to serve the purpose of irrigation hydroelectric, and water supply for the people of Oyo State before it was abandoned. Also aware that the 47-kilometer dam is Major Hatfield Dam with 4 tributaries, namely Ogun, Owo, Amaka, and Owe rivers, which is big enough to supply the water needs of the entire southwest and is projected to generate 60 megawatts of electricity. Worried that the dam and its access road is in deplorable condition, making farming during dry season difficult for the people of Oyo State and Southwest at large. The House resolved to, number 1, to urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources to resuscitate and ensure full functionality and utilization of the Ikere Dam in the Iseyin local government area of Oyo State. And 2, for the House to urge the Committee on Appropriation to make provisions for resuscitating this dam in the next budget term. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Shina Pella. Princess Miriam, can you second?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. My distinguished colleagues, my name is Honorable Princess Miriam Odinaka Onona. I represent the good people of Isi Alambano, Onimo, Okigwe Federal Constituency. I am from Imo State. I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, Shina Pella. I still second.
Okay, this is an infrastructure motion by Honorable Pella, so we'll just put the question. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The 8th order of the day is consideration of 2 reports of the Committee on Tertiary Education and Services. Honorable Aminu Suleiman will move for the consideration.
Mr. Speaker, Honorable Aminu was bereaved and had to travel. Accordingly, I move that the consideration of the report, unless if the Deputy Chairman is here to present the report on his behalf, I move that the consideration be stepped down by the leave of the House.
All right, consideration step down. The 9th order of the day is consideration of 7 reports of the Committee on Public Petitions. Honorable Jerry Alagwaso will move for the consideration.
Your Excellency, the Right Honorable Speaker, my colleagues, my name is Jerry Alagwaso. I'm from Imo State, representing our law Assembly Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker and colleagues, I rise to urge the House to consider about 7 reports, namely, the House to consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on a petition by Honorable Julius and associates on behalf of Dr. Francis Savasin Deka against the Director General CEO of Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, on the wrongful termination of his appointment, and approve the recommendation therein. 2, the House to consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on a petition by Community Development Committees against Nigerian National Petroleum NNPC for compensation for the victims of the pipeline explosion, which occurred on 19 January 2020 at Ekuru Abule Abaidul AGA, Ali Mosho, local government area of Lagos State, and approve the recommendation therein. The committee that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on a petition by Just Side Local Government Council on behalf of Sir Christopher Mancha against Nigeria Defense Academy on the non-payment of compensation and constant harassment of its subjects, and approve the recommendation. Mr. Speaker, I rise also that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by the Coalition of Parents of Foreign Trained Medical Doctors that serve for the assessment examination conducted by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria MDCN, held on 24th and 25 November 2021 at Usman Dan Fodio University Teaching Hospital, Sokoto, and approved the recommendation therein. Mr. Speaker, that the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on a petition by Mrs. Orire Olainka and Mrs. Idris Fatimo Yetunde against the Nigeria Customs Service for the non-payment of debt, benefits, and entitlements, and approve the recommendation therein. Mr. Speaker, the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on a petition by Sabia Nigeria Limited against Osun River Basin Development Authority on unpaid work done and abandonment of projects, and approve the recommendation therein. And finally, Mr. Speaker, the House do consider the report of the Committee on Public Petitions on the petition by Prince Martins, SF Fang against Mobile Producing Limited on the various incidents of crude oil spillage emanating from Exxon Mobil operations on non-payment of compensation to the affected victims, and approve the recommendations therein. Mr. Speaker, I rise for consideration.
Honorable Gideon, please second.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Representative Gideon Fitila Goroki from Guyuk Shalom Federal Constituency in Adamawa State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my honorable colleagues. I so second.
Thank you, Honorable Gideon. Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. House Leader, please can you move that the House resolve into the Committee of the Whole to consider the reports?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, or honorable members. I remain Ado Dogwa. Mr. Speaker, I represent the people of Dogwa, Chudumada Federal Constituency. Honorable members, I am from Kano State. I rise to move as directed by the Speaker that this House will resolve to Committee of the Whole to consider the report. Mr. Speaker, honorable members, I so move.
Thank you. Honorable Taiwo, please second. Please second.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Taiwo Oluyemi Adewale is my name. I'm from Ibarapa East, the Federal Constituency area of Oyo State. I hereby rise to second the motion as moved by my colleague. Thanks.
Those in support, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Honorable Jimo, approach the chair. The House hereby resolves the Committee of the Whole. Approach the chair, Honorable Jimo. Or rather, no, you can stay on your seat. Stay on your seat. Tell the whole world and your constituents why you said no, that the House should not resolve the Committee of the Whole. You have the mic. Why did you say no when we asked that the House resolve to the Committee of the Whole to consider very important reports? Tell the whole world and your constituents. You have your mic, yes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm sorry, sir, with due respect. I want to say that's a wrong impression about me. That's a wrong impression about me.
You said no.
No, he was talking to me, yeah, and I said no to him, and not to the House. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, I just gave you an opportunity. I knew you wouldn't say that. Okay. So we can go to Committee of the Whole, right? Okay, very good. So I now leave you in the safe hands of the Deputy Speaker. Committee of the Whole.
Respected colleagues, the first report to be considered is that of Committee on Public Petition by Anangbesim Julius and Associates on behalf of Dr. Francis Sebastian Dekas against the Director General, Chief Executive of the Nigerian Meteorological Agency on the wrongful termination of his appointment. I now invite Honorable Lagboson to give the synopsis of the report.
The chairman.
Yes, sir. You have the floor.
Very powerful chairman and colleagues. This is about a man who was said to have been sacked wrongfully. Mr. Speaker, Chairman, if you remember, this came to some other time. You told us to go and work on it.
Thank you.
And worked on it and came out with the fact that the man
I have it in my head. I was just waiting for you. Whether to ambush you.
Yes.
Thank you.
The committee now agreed that the man should be given his due compensation so that he'll be able to move on with life, Mr. Chairman.
You know, if you recall what happened during the last meeting, was that first, the report that you gave us was that it was the civil service that was given the appointment.
Yes.
And we said NIMED is an agency under Nigerian Aviation Authority. So they couldn't have been the one to employ for them. So determine first who gave the appointment. If it is the civil service, we cannot direct an employee of the Federal Civil Service now for NIMED to take responsibility. And because we didn't want to suffer, that's why we asked you to go and again, they investigate and work on their own assignment. That was what happened.
Yes. It was the meteorological employment, not the...
They gave him the appointment.
Yes, yes.
Thank you. If they are the one that gave him, we have no problem. Thank you. You see, Honorable Jerry, you have changed nothing from your report, from the last one you presented to us, sir. You have changed nothing. And I refer you to your 2-1. Yes, sir. That upon collecting the award, he was rewarded with automatic employment with the Federal Civil Service Commission. Nothing has changed. Page 1. Nothing has changed. It's the same report you presented to us, they are now taking it back to us. So you have not given the truth one. Yes. No, two, yes, on page 1. On the front page of your report on this particular one to be considered. Go to paragraph 2. On the one we are considering now, the man that was terminated. No, I've not cleared anything. And I'm saying the basis for stripping down the report last time was because of this particular clause. First, if it's an given appointment by the Federal Civil Service, NIMED cannot be the one. And I told you of service institutions like, for instance, accountants posted to various places. It's not the institutions that they are posted to that pay their salary. No, that was why we asked you to go and work.
We can step it down, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
So I hereby call Mr. Chairman to step this down.
Thank you, sir.
For further work on it.
Thank you. The post step down by the name of the house.
Which other one?
The next report is the report to be considered is the Committee on Public Petition by Just South Local Government on behalf of Sir Christopher S. Mancha against the Nigerian Defense Academy on the non-payment of compensation and constant harassment of his subjects. I now invite Honorable Jerry Alaboso to give the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chairman and colleagues, this is a matter of acquisition of land with theatre agreement and compensation. The committee looked at it and felt that there must be adequate compensation for land owners in Jos and recommended accordingly, Mr. Chairman.
Sir, go through the heading of the petition and then your recommendation. You see? They are not quite intended, sir. You know, this is a very important committee, and I think we should be very much careful with our wordings and our recommendations, because it will not be fair for us to throw in, and at the end of the day, our recommendations are not respected. Yes, sir. I think a clerk have a lot to do. I say a clerk have a lot to do. I don't know whether you go through your reports. I'm saying go through, the heading is this, that the House do receive the Committee on Public Petition by the House, by just South Local Government on behalf of Sir Christopher S. Mancha against the Nigerian Defense Academy on the That's one way, yeah. That's one way, yeah. I jump on? Okay.
He is the one that read the one for Just and he say in Just land matter in Just. I'm not the one that jumped. He's the one that he made comments to. Yes. In Jos. No, I was the one that read that one. So that if I jump that listen. So,
Chairman, are you controverting the recommendations? Let's see whether we can separate that.
And constant harassment of the subject and approved recommendation therein. If you look at the local government petition on behalf of another person and then subject, it means then there are people, caucus of people that are entitled to this land. And if you are now recommending that this money be paid to one person, land matter is not like that. You don't deal with land matters in that manner. And I feel that you have not captured properly.
Okay. Noted.
So we have to step down for you to go and do again.
Okay. Step it down.
Thank you.
Is Johnny?
First step down.
Somebody is their leader.
But then it was there.
The other one.
It was on.
Why can't you step on?
I think you have to pay me for consultancy, JD.
You can go and
Elder.
nice.
You have to pay me for consultancy.
Yes, the problem is that when I look for you, I don't see you. You are very busy. You are very busy, Chairman.
No, I come here to the floor and then I will read the report and then find this thing. You are the one who's supposed to do the work more.
You see, that Christopher is leading the community. That's why we said he should pay.
No, it's not because of the community.
You're not going to benefit from that alone. It's a community.
No, sir. It's not about community.
And I said it because you are from Jos. I thought.
No, I don't have it. In fact, here, why seated here is when whatever observation I'm giving to you. This one, I was able to refresh my head. God help me that yes, this was the situation we took. And I saw you repeating the same mistake in the other one that has to do with custom service.
Custom service?
Yes.
No, it has been corrected.
When we get there, you see. Flatter. It's gone. The next project it's a committee on population on a petition by community development committees. Is that right? Against the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation for compensation for the victims and pipeline explosion, which occurred on 19 January 2020 at Ikoro, Abule Egbe, Agbadu, Oke Odo, LCDA. I don't know which one is LCDA. Alim Mosho local government area of Lagos State. I now invite the jail to give the synopsis of the report.
Mr. Chairman, this is about explosion in Lagos. We looked at it by inviting all the parties involved and decided to direct the National Environmental Standards and Regulation Agency to visit the place and then urge the managing director to come up with a compensation plan that will alleviate the suffering of the people who suffered that explosion in Lagos. Mr. Chairman.
I don't know. Recommendation 1, 2, 3. That's the one I have a little problem. Is it the pipeline for NNPC or oil company? Because you have other ones who are now doing. If it is oil company that are doing, it belongs to NNPC. Thank you. that the House do consider the report of the coalition committee on public petition on the petition by coalition of parents of foreign trained medical doctors that sat for assessment examination conducted by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, held on 24 to 25 November 2021, and now at Usman Danfodio University.
Chairman,
Sokoto. Yes, sir.
Medical Council, they conducted the exam, the normal examination they normally conduct for professionals, medical doctors, and there was a massive failure. The people they protested, and when we interviewed them, we decided that they should maintain the 6-month mandatory clinic attachment they normally practice everywhere. But I urged them to review their charges, because these people have paid some money, and to charge them again with a double payment, they were told them to review it to enable them pay. And secondly, we urge them to embark on receipt to enable the receipt the examination has done in other higher institutions. And all of them agreed, Mr. Chairman.
It was more of a tripartite meeting. And so these are the words you agreed during the meeting. I said this is what you agreed during the meeting. Thank you. Recommendation 1, 2. Oh, sorry. Yes, sir.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I remain Architect Ibrahim Al-Mustafa Aliu, member representing Wondo Abaya constituency. Honorable colleagues, I want the chairman of this committee to expatiate on this recommendation number 2, that the charges be reviewed downward to reflect the current realities of the economic situation in the country. So now there is an issue that necessitates the petition. They jacked up the amount to 900,000 from about 160 something thereabout. And now the issue that this money is too much. So now we are talking about reviewing downward to what amount? You said the current reality. I think this is not too substantive. Maybe the chairman need to explain further.
No, Mr. Chairman, if you read our other paper, there are certain things we don't have the mandate to do. It's not our duty to recommend to higher institutions on the fees they are going to charge their students. So that's why we said they should review, not for us to take a particular amount of money. They're autonomous, they have a right,
they are autonomous, but you can also help in regulating what they are doing. If, for instance, they were charging 50 naira, and then they decide to go by 600 naira or 200 naira, you know that the current reality does not allow that. The economy is biting very hard, and we could say maintain status quo, reverse status quo, because this one you are still giving the window to go and do another, and then they will say the House concur with us. Downward, if the digital kobo is reduced downward. No.
And apply again, and petition. We don't need to.
You see, public petition is very important. And that is why before any business of the House is done, Yours is the first item on the order paper. And it is because you are the ombudsman, and we expect to listen. For me, I'm tempted to go the way architect is thinking. It's not university, this is dental council. That materials, money for what they are doing is for the purpose of running examination to qualify. No, foreign trained doctors not in, that have trained in Nigeria return back for them to qualify. If they are qualifying, the 6-month training that I know is not in that council. They are going to hospitals to do like what they call locum and other things. And after the locum, they will not come to dental council to write the exam. It's just like the Institute of Architect or Engineering that charges their membership that want to qualify. You can't be a practicing medical doctor without passing the dental council, medical and dental council. You cannot practice. And that's why the charges could be moderated. Sure. It's not for foreign members, it's for Nigerians that have trained outside the country on return.
To review it so that they're able to pay, but not to put a particular amount of money.
But why should their own be different?
I don't have that mandate, sir.
No. If they are charged up to 900,000, it's not fair.
About 160. One of that foreign trained are paying, they are now charging them 900,000. Why the parity? I think there should be uniformity.
They should, if they are Nigerians and they return, why should there be difference?
Yes.
I do not agree to that, honestly speaking. I think you can move your motion. If you succeed, fine. Architect. I don't have any of my word outside the Nigerian show, but I believe all Nigerians should be treated equally. That's all.
The chairman, sir, honorable colleagues, I want to move an amendment on the recommendation number 2 to read that the charges should be uniform for those that studied in Nigeria and abroad, and that they should be charged within the economic realities or situation in the country.
The person that have gone to Ghana to train to come back to write, it should be the same fee. Yes, it's Konda.
Mr. Chairman, my colleagues, my name is Babangida Alasa, representing Dala Federal Constituency. Mr. Chairman, I stand to second the amendment that moved by my colleague on this consideration report, number 2, recommendation number 2. I so second, sir.
Those in favor of the amendment say aye. Against any? That's it. So 2 as amended. 3. The next is the report on the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Oriri, Olayenka, and Mrs. Idris Fatima Yetunde against the Nigerian Customs Service for the non-payment of debt benefits and entitlements and approved recommendations. So you may give us the synopsis.
Mr. Chairman, these women brought petitions against Nigerian Customs in connection with the balance of the payment of their husbands' benefits. We looked at the merits and the merits of the case and recommended that the Nigerian Customs should, after they must have submitted their debt balance, to pay the was the balance of the...
You recall, during the last consideration, I said you made the same mistake. What we asked you to do was that first, what was the amount and what is the remaining balance? Have the person certified all the minimum requirements in terms of this? Was things we asked you to go and find out and report back when we step down the report.
You want us to go into specifics, the amount
Oh
of
yes.
money they're owing?
Why should we give you an open check?
But the Nigerian
You belong to that industry, so you should know better.
So the Nigerian customs, they know the benefits of debt customer access.
No, in your own, when we are carrying out your public hearing, you are supposed to ask that specific question, so that nobody uses us as a conduit to siphon public funds. So we'll step it down.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to urge you to please step down this for further consideration.
Consideration of this report step down for further legislative action. The next report, my colleagues, is the report on Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Sabim Nigerian Limited against Ogun Ocean Rivers Basin Development Authority on unpaid work done and abandonment of our projects and approved recommendation. Can you give us a synopsis, sir?
This is about contracting, Mr. Chairman. The Sabim Nigeria Limited did some work for Ocean River, and at the point the work stopped, not by its own instance. So we now urge Ocean River to pay Sabim Nigeria Limited a sum of 29 million naira, the worth of the work they've done.
Thank you. Khalid? I guess the last report to be considered is that of the report on the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Prince Martins S. Ifan against the mobile producing unlimited new Exxon Mobil company on the various incidents of crude oil spillage emanating from Exxon Mobil operations and non-payments of compensation to the affected victims and approved conditions. Can you give us a synopsis, sir?
Mr. Chairman and colleagues, this is a matter of crude oil spillage emanating from ExxonMobil operations, especially with Mobil Producing Nigeria, which is a subsidiary of ExxonMobil, to pay the affected communities compensation for the damages of the environment as a result of the oil spillage. We looked at this and discovered, as a matter of fact, there was oil spillage, and we asked Mobil Producing Nigeria Limited, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil, to pay compensations for the damages, environmental degradation, and also they could pay it instrumentally so that it will not be very overwhelming on them. That is the second recommendation.
Was there a determined amount for the payment for the compensation?
No. They just requested the general compensation. They don't normally talk about the special account amount.
If they are not determined amount and the amount is so huge, and then the environment is spoiled, why do you have to say they should pay instrumentally? So you are giving cover to the companies.
This is because the MOU, they did not specify the amount of money.
No, what is supposed to happen is that NESRA are supposed to be party to ensuring and the Ministry of Environment to ensuring that environment that are degraded through pollution are adequately compensated.
Yes.
And then if we are the one now who are watering down in terms of what should happen, because it depends on the quantum of the damage in the society. And then we are the one who are assuming the boni may not be up to 200-300 million naira. And you are saying they should go and pay. You know how the business community, in some instances, I'm not accusing this one, how they behave when it comes to taking one kobo out of their profit to cater for communities. Yes, sir.
Chairman, we are trying to assist the oil company in case.
No, don't assist the oil company, assist Nigerians. Assist
They
Nigerians
have a
first.
huge amount of money to pay.
Assist
Let them pay
assist
instrumentally.
Nigerians first before the oil company.
That's why we told you to pay instrumentally if it's huge.
Eh?
They must pay for environmental, but if it's huge, they should pay instrumentally.
Well, my brother Jimo.
Thank you very much. My name is Jima Abdurrahim Olajide. I represent the Lagos Mainland Federal Constituency, Lagos State. Mr. Chairman, sir, I have my grounds on the recommendation number 2 that said compensation may be paid instrumentally, subject to agreement between the parties. If you are recommending to us and you are still subjecting to maybe, that's not a suggestion as far as I'm concerned. Okay, thank you.
So what do we do in this instance? Do we step it down to allow you retool it again? Okay. So you are seconding. I say you are seconding. Thank you. So 1 carried, 2 as amended. Thank you. Leader, I know Bago is disturbing you. Can we revert to plenary to report progress?
ba zan yi ba musa you do it for me you nominate ne ka sa sunan ka yi nominate ne shi ba damuwa tun daga dana ai dadin ta in ka aihu ka huta hello Mr. Chairman, honorable members, I rise to move that the House do revert to plenary to report progress. Mr. Speaker and honorable members, I so move.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My dear colleagues, I am Comrade Peter Uhionzoje Akpatasin, MNI. I rise to second the motion ably moved by the Leader of the House that this committee do revert to plenary to report progress. Mr. Chair, I so move or second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. The House is hereby to revert to plenary to report progress. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Popular Petition on a petition by Anang Bashim Julius and Associates on behalf of Dr. Francis Sebastian Deka against the Director General and Chief Executive of Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, on the wrongful termination of his appointment and step down the report by the leave of the House. The House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report on the Committee on Popular Petition on the petition by Community Development Committee against the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, for compensation for the victims of pipeline explosion which occurred on 19 January 2020 at Ekoro, Abule, Egba, Adagbo, Oke, Odo, LCDA, Alimosun local government area of Lagos State, and approve recommendations 1 to 3 of the report. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report of the Committee on Popular Petition by Josiah Local Government Area on behalf of Sir Christopher S. Mancha against the Nigerian Defense Academy on the non-payment of compensation and constant harassment of the subject and step down the report of by the leave of the House. The House and the Committee of the Whole consider the report on the Committee on popular petition, on the petition by coalition of parents of foreign trained medical doctors that sat for assessment examination conducted by the Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, held on 25th November 2021 at the Umaru Danfodi University Teaching Hospital, Sokoto, and approved recommendation 1, recommendation 2 as amended, and recommendation 3 of the report. The House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on Public Petition on the petition by Mr. Orire Olainka and Mrs. Idris Fatimo Yetunde against the Nigerian Customs Service for non-payments of death benefits and entitlement, and step down the report for further legislative action. Respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of Committee on Public Petition on petition by Sebim Nigeria Limited against Oshun River Basin Development Authority on unpaid work and on an abandonment of projects, and approved the recommendations of the report. Lastly, respected colleagues, the House and the Committee of the Whole considered the report of the Committee on the Public Petition on the petition by Prince Martins Efang against Mobile Producing Unlimited, now Exxon Mobil Corporation, on the various incidents of crude oil spillage emanating from Exxon Mobil operations and non-payments of compensation to the affected victims, and approved recommendation 1 and recommendation 2 as amended of the report. Leader, can you move for the adoption of the report, please?
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My respected colleagues, I rise to move that the report is ably read and reported by the Speaker and the Chair be adopted. Mr. Speaker,
Deputy Leader,
members, I so move.
Deputy Leader.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Comrade Peter Ohiazoje Akwatasin, MNI, the representative of Akoko Edo Federal Constituency from the powerful Edo State. Mr. Speaker, I second the motion as ably moved by the Leader of the House. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion say aye. Against say nay. That's have it. Leader, move for the adjournment of the House.
Mr. Speaker, my honorable respected colleagues, Adodogwa remains my name. My respected colleagues, I represent the good people of Dogwa Tudunwada Federal Constituency. I am from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to humbly move that this House do adjourn to Tuesday, the 22nd day of March 2022 by 11 a.m. Mr. Speaker, I so move in the name of Allah subhanahu